Hello, welcome to a new episode of Geek Lunch Me. I'm your host Chris. As usual, I thought in this video just do a quick catch up on some news, some things that have been happening. I've not done a video like this for a while, so I thought, yeah, time for a catch up. Don't forget, if you like the video, if you could hit the thumbs up, it helps us out a great deal, gets the video seen by more people. And if you haven't already subscribed, why not hit that subscribe button? We'd absolutely love to have you. So, yeah, some sad news to begin with the passing of Lance Reddick. Unfortunately, only 60 years old, no age at all. Obviously, all of us geeks will know him from the John Wick movies. Obviously, John Wick 4 is coming out shortly, which has been getting rave reviews, incidentally. An action film magnum opus, apparently, so we look forward to that one. But I say Lance Reddick, he first came to my attention back in Fringe, which was a fantastic show and sort of carrying on sort of X-Files sort of vibes. He was great as the chief, his sort of baritone, almost deeply resonating voice, and great gravitas that he brought to every role. And not surprising with a voice like that, a lot of video game roles as well. Destiny, Horizon Zero Dawn, a particular favourite of mine. He was the best thing about the recent Netflix Resident Evil series as Wesker. So yes, sad news on the passing of Lance Reddick. We will still, however, get to enjoy. He has recorded the voice for Hellboy in the upcoming Web of Wyrd video game. If you've not seen any footage from it, I'll put a link in the description below to the trailer. It's basically might be known as artwork come to life. I don't know how the game's going to play. I think it's a brawler, a bit of a beat 'em up. It's coming out sometime later this year, but it just looks like panels of the comic brought to life. Look, from that sort of point of view, looks absolutely fantastic. I'm a huge Hellboy fan, as you'll know if you've seen a recent video I did looking at the new movie that's coming out, The Crooked Man, taking it in a more horror movie-based direction. So check out the video if you haven't already, but I sort of do a quick catch-up and a brief history retrospective, if you will, of Hellboy. So yeah, Hellboy Web of Wyrd coming out later this year. I also wanted to bring your attention to Sisu, or Sisu, a Finnish movie from Jamari Helander. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. The Finnish director who brought us Rare Exports, which is one of my favourite Christmas movies of all time. It's a tradition in our household. We watch it every Christmas Eve. It's a bit like, it's a sort of Goonies. It's got that family adventure film about it, except some wrinkly naked old men. Full frontal nudity crops up later on, and there's a bit of a reindeer slaughter, so perhaps not one to watch with the whole family. But Rare Exports is fantastic. He also did Big Game, a sort of over-the-top action with Samuel L. Jackson as the president of the United States, whose Air Force One crashes in the Finnish wilderness. But yeah, Sisu looks absolutely fantastic. So I'll put a link to the trailer in the description below, as always. It's starring Jorma Tomala. Again, apologies for the pronunciation. He's the dad in Rare Exports. In this, he plays an ex-soldier who finds like a vein of gold. He's got to get to the nearest bank, which is hundreds of miles away, to stake his claim. And this is all happening during the sort of Nazi occupation. So he's got a lot of Nazis to get past. And it just looks massively violent. I think it says in the trailer, the most fun you can have when massacring Nazis or something along those lines. He's throwing landmines at people, using them as weapons, machetes to the head. Absolutely fantastic. Apparently, Sisu, it's a Finnish word, stoic determination and grit. One of those words like the German Schadenfreude, where it's sort of not got no real translation equal. Yeah, as soon as I saw the trailer, absolutely gone to the top of my must-see list. Not sure on the date. Hopefully, it should might get a limited release at the cinema later this year. If not, I expect it will be coming straight to streaming or a Blu-ray release. Next up, James Gunn has announced he will be directing as well as the taking on the writing chore for Superman Legacy, which will be the first film to kick off his reimagining of the DC cinematic universe. So yeah, they're doing away with the Snyderverse and all the sort of different continuities that contradict each other. They're going ahead in this new direction with James Gunn basically in charge, like the role Kevin Feige has in the MCU. And he's basically said it will center around Superman's heritage, both his Kryptonian heritage and his Earth parents, Ma and Pa Kent. No news on a casting yet. I believe he's still writing. The release date is July the 11th, 2025, so we've got a couple of years to wait on that yet to see how it kicks off, say this new DC universe. Hopefully, so I wasn't a massive fan of the Snyder movies, so looking forward to this. I hope they go back more to the sort of bright and cheerful Superman that I grew up with as a kid with with the Richard Donner movies and Christopher Reeve, always a favourite of mine. But yeah, so we've got a few years to wait on that. Also, Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, had some interesting things to say about the MCU and also the Star Wars movies. Basically, I think they've sort of realised that maybe the MCU has reached a saturation point, and things aren't quite going the way they imagined. Obviously, after the end of the last phase, we lost big characters like Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow. We've had the introduction of all new characters, some of which have gone better than others. So basically, there seems to be some sort of shenanigans going on behind the scenes and things being rearranged, reshuffled. He didn't come out and sort of downright say that things were broken, but just they were going to take more of an attitude that maybe some characters didn't need 3 or 4 sequels. I suspect maybe he's referring to Thor in that respect, with this sort of disappointing reaction to the Love and Thunder and not being as good as Ragnarok. Which has led to, we already heard previously that the Marvels has been delayed. It was coming out in the summer. It's been put back to November. Let's talk about adding to the effects work, because it's been another sort of complaint that some of the effects work has been a bit dodgy on some of the later Marvel releases, that they've had not got enough time for the effects houses to complete all the work sort of to satisfaction. And he's talked about paring back the TV shows, that maybe less is more, and it's not saying not oversaturation, overcrowding the market. So we've got Loki season 2. I think is probably the next one. It was we had the little snippet at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. With them seeing another iteration of Kang. So I think that's next. They usually alternate them between sort of the big Star Wars shows, and then you get a big Marvel show on Disney Plus. So I think those are the Mandalorian season 3 that we're currently on. Will run till about the end of April. They usually then give it 2 or 3 weeks. So I suspect towards the end of May we should get Loki season 2. I imagine we'll get an announcement on that shortly. But then we've got things like Secret Invasion, the Nick Fury sort of heading show with the Skrulls, with the shapeshifters. Echo, who are coming out of the Hawkeye show. Daredevil Born Again, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, where they've sort of rumoured we may get to see Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, back again. But yeah, I think some of these are getting pushed back. I don't think you're going to see 4 shows like Marvel shows all arriving in the same year. I think these are definitely going to get pushed back out, and I reckon we might go back to getting just 2 Marvel cinema releases in a year, maybe sort of one in May and then one in the autumn. That wouldn't surprise at all. Bob Iger also wanted to say with Star Wars that they're being careful again, similar with the MCU, after the disappointing box office of Solo. He's basically sort of saying that it's been quite what was it, when did Rise of Skywalker come out? Was that 2019? So it's been like 3.5 years since the last Star Wars movie. Nothing has been announced. he's basically saying, yeah, they're being very careful, and that when they make the next one, it's got to be the right one. And yeah, absolutely agree with him. And again, I think like we was talking about with the Marvel stuff, is the oversaturation. It makes the releases less special. And Star Wars was always very special because we only ever had sort of a finite number of movies. And now with too much TV stuff going on, I think there is a danger of it can dilute the brand. Obviously, Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie has bit the dust. Even Kevin Feige, head honcho of the MCU, his supposed Star Wars production that he was working on has gone. If someone like Kevin Feige can't get something off the ground, then you know you're in trouble. Taika Waititi, he turned in his script quite a while ago. The rumor still seems to be that maybe that will still be upcoming, and that possibly now he may be even starring in that. But it looks like the best bet, the next one, is a Damon Lindelof scripted movie. Lindelof can be a bit hit and miss. When he's good, he's very good, but he has a tendency not to stick the landing. He tends to be an ideas man, and then sort of doesn't really, asks all these interesting questions, a bit like J.J. Abrams did with Force Awakens. He asked all these interesting questions, but ultimately someone's then got to answer those questions down the line, which can cause problems. I would think that Star Wars Celebration, the big get together is coming Easter in London. You would think that would be the ideal opportunity to announce the next movie. So yeah, I would suspect that's where we might get some news. I wouldn't bet money on it. It wouldn't surprise me if we still didn't hear anything after that. But I think Star Wars needs a sort of big movie announcement. The Mandalorian's doing all the heavy lifting at the moment. Everybody loves a show, and that's really what's pushing Star Wars forward. Then we're getting Ahsoka later in the year, which should carry on in that tradition. But yeah, it's about time we heard some big Star Wars movie news. It may be, obviously, we've got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny coming out. Is it June, isn't it? I think so. A few months down the line, maybe they're waiting for that. Maybe they don't want to overshadow the release of the big release of the next Indiana Jones film. Maybe they will wait till after that. We will wait and see. So that's it for me. Just a few bits of news there. It's me ruminating on sort of the MCU and Star Wars and where it's headed in the future. Have you got any ideas? What do you think is going to happen next? Drop us a comment below. It's always good to hear from everyone. I try to reply to every comment I get. Yeah, until next time, take care and eat, geek, and be merry.